2026 can finally be the time where you turn your fitness goals into reality. And everyone said the same thing. They want to look better, they want to feel better, have more confidence, be in better shape, or just have a healthy lifestyle in general. And for that, yes, you need discipline, you need to have your routine locked in so you can drop that body fat, build some muscle so you look stronger. And the only way you're going to achieve those outcomes is through fitness. If you want to build that physique, that confidence up, you'll have to work for it. But this time, we got to make sure that you finish what you get started, because every time I see the same thing. People are setting those big goals, but they cannot stay consistent and they just give up along the way. There's too much pressure, they get overwhelmed, or they don't see the result. And next thing you know, they are in the exact same position because they never learned from their mistakes. And actually, 2026 is in 1 week. So if you don't take the time to focus on this video and actually implement what you're going to learn, I can guarantee that you're going to set yourself up for failure next year. So this is why New Year resolutions always fail, at least 90% of them. People set goals, but they don't have plan. If you're not clear on what direction to take, how do you expect to reach that destination? Just forget about it. It's like someone is dropping you in a city you've never been before and ask you to find a certain place, like a restaurant, for example. If you don't use Google Maps, have that destination so you can know what direction to go, you're going to just get lost, man. And this is what you guys do every year with your fitness. You just, set the goal. You're not clear on what step to take and just get lost along the way. So if you want to avoid that, we need clear directions. And this is exactly what I'm going to show you today. And the blueprint I'm going to present you today is the same one that I use with the guys in my community. So here you have two examples. On the left side, let me just move my head a bit. On the left side, this is just 1 month transformation. On the right, as you can see, it's a weight loss curve, but the guy dropped 50 pounds in only 6 months. And the way these guys got those results is by following that exact blueprint that you're going to learn today. So this is why I want you to pay attention. And that framework is something that I built myself over 8 years of experience. I try every single thing possible, every diet, every workout, every type of cardio. And after different trials and errors, I finally built my dream physique. And now I ask myself, with everything that I learned, how I can compress it into a simple framework that anyone can use. Doesn't matter how much experience you have, that you can use and implement right now to can maximize result in 6 months. And it's how eventually I come out with my BBI blueprint. There's 5 core elements to it, but today I'm just going to show you a simplified presentation so you don't get too much overwhelmed. It's actually easy to understand. So let's start with step number 1. This is where most people fucked up. People set goals, but they don't have plan. Your goal has to come from your long-term vision. You need to be clear on who you're trying to become and why it's important for you. You have to make it exciting. For example, if you're a dad and you have a kid and right now you're out of shape, well, maybe your long-term vision is to be able to play with your kids without being out of breath. And that will require you to be in better shape. So that is exciting for you because you love your kids. You want the best for them. Because once you're clear on that vision, you will be able to set goals. And the goals has to be specific and measurable. Unfortunately, saying things like, I want to be healthy, I want to be confident, is not specific enough, right? Something that's going to be specific and measurable will be, I want to lose 25 pounds, or I want to run 5K under 30 minutes. That is specific and that is measurable. Because once we know the goal, we have to attach a timeline to it. By when we need to achieve the goal. So let's say 25 pounds. Well, I want to achieve that in 6 months. Then you have to ask yourself, is this realistic? 25 pounds in 6 months, that's about 1 pound a week. Well, that seems doable. That's realistic. And once we can answer those questions, is this specific, measurable, and realistic, we can start creating a plan around the goal. If someone said to me, I want to lose 100 pounds in 6 months, well, it's specific, it's measurable, but it's not realistic, right? So this is why setting the timeline is very important, because once we're clear on the goal, we know how long it's going to take, we'll be able to create a plan. Once we are clear on the goal, we need to convert it into daily systems. Because you need to ask yourself, if I want to be somewhere in 6 months, what has to be done today and every day actually in order to move closer to that goal? And this is why the blueprint is very simple, because We stop focusing too much on the future and we focus only on what has to be done today. And at the end of the day, it'll always come down to your hydration, your nutrition, your workout, your steps, and your sleep. And now we know where to focus on every single day. We need to set daily targets for each of these categories. Hydration will be 4 liters of water every day plus electrolytes in the morning. Nutrition, we want to follow a whole food diet at least 90% of the time. Be in a calorie deficit, animal-based, high-protein diet, 2-3 meals per day. Workout 3 times per week, 1 hour max, push-pull leg. Steps, setting 10,000 steps as a baseline to get started. And sleep, sleeping 8 hours per night, having a bed routine in place and staying consistent with that sleep schedule. And now we know that if we focus on those daily inputs, it's going to compound over time. And after 6 months, you're going to reach your goal. Now, the next thing, guys, is just to make sure that we manage your time properly because you need to be organized. Fitness is not going to be the only thing in your life. I get it. You're working, you have a social life, maybe a partner. So this is why you need to take your scheduling skills to another level and block time for everything, like literally everything. Ask yourself, what time do I start work? What time do I finish? Block it in your calendar. What day of the week I'm going to work out? You're not going to work out 3 times a week, 1 hour max. Anyone can do it, by the way. And ask yourself, is it going to be in the morning, at lunch break, at night? Block it in your calendar. What time are you going to eat? Lunch, breakfast, dinner. Block it in your calendar. You need to do some meal prep on weekend. If yes, block it in your calendar. What day of the week you're going to do your groceries? Block it in your calendar. What time are you going to bed? Going to wake up? Block it in your calendar. When are you going to see your friend? Go out with your partner? Block it in your calendar. You see, if you do that work, it's going to be very easy for you to stay consistent and not missing. Easiest way you're going to do it is just use a tool like Google Calendar, guys. It's free and I can guarantee it's going to change your life. Once you calendar up everything, you just got to make the commitment to stay consistent. So now we have the goal. Now we have an action plan. Guys, at the beginning, you're going to see some results just because you have new habits in place. You're going to lose the weight, you're going to feel better, you're going to look better. But then you have to understand something is that nothing will be as perfect. Nobody will be that easy. And you will have to face some roadblocks. It's something that you have to accept. This is just part of the process. And this is why you need coaching. Because if you're facing a roadblock and if you haven't done that process before, how are you going to know what you need to change? You need to create more deficit, more cardio, pushing more your workout, twisting something in your routine. You don't have that answer now. And this is why every single year, you start strong and you cannot stay consistent because you stop seeing the results. Because you don't have someone, who can give you some feedback based on experience because he actually walked the path. And this is why people have mentors. This is why people have coaching, because of accountability, because they don't know what to change when they, stop making progress. So you can save yourself a lot of time and many months of frustration just by working with someone who has experience. And if you have any interest of working out one-on-one with me, there's going to be a link in the description of this video where you can apply for one-on-one coaching, guys. So to wrap up this video, guys, if you want to turn your 2026 fitness goals into reality, everything has to start with a clear vision. Be clear on who you want to become and why it's important for you. And from that vision, make it exciting, turn it into specific goals. Goals has to be specific, measurable, and you got to set a timeline to it. And based on that, we're going to turn it into daily systems. For each system, we'll have daily targets. And you got to make the commitment to hit those daily targets no matter what. And also, because fitness isn't going to be only part of your life, you have different priorities, I get it. You need to become more organized as a person. Manage your time properly. And for that, you need to block time for everything. Use a simple tool as Google Calendar. It's going to change your life. Make the commitment to stay consistent and also be willing to improve. And as I say, guys, if you work with someone, it's going to be way faster for you because you're going to actually have proper feedback on what to do and what to change if, let's say, you hit the roadblocks. So if you're ready to take your fitness to the next level in 2026, you can DM me 2026 on Instagram or just apply for one-on-one coaching with the link in the description of this video. So that's it for me today, guys. Thanks for watching. Wishing you a wonderful holidays, happy Christmas, and all the best for 2026. Let's get it.